Welcome back. We are here again for Hissing Darkness in the Wake of Secrets, episode 3 of this Rooted in Trophy Gold incursion. So, we'll do a quick previously on. We know that James's character has been lost to the darkness. Oh boy, howdy. And then we will see whom he brings in for next time, for this session. All right, but in the meantime, let's look at the other characters, okay? So, let's take it from right to left. So, let's start with Mike and Pole.
Hi, I'm Mike, pronoun he, him. I am playing Paul, also he, him. Paul is Paul came out of stasis wearing the uniform of a ship scientist. He claims to be an expert on cosmology and is most interested in getting to the ship's navigation system so that we can figure out where we are and how to get to a habitable world, because it's clear that something very bad has happened to this ship and we need to get out of here. Um, Paul looks like a pretty normal person. Kind of average height, average build. He's so incredibly average because he hasn't like specifically revealed it to the other characters, but he is secretly an android. Um, let's see. Last session we managed to escape from the section of the ship that had all the cryostasis pods and moved into the next section of the ship, which when we tried to pull up schematics was very weird and twisty and difficult to figure out where we were supposed to go, like almost as if the ship itself had been like twisted and warped. Um, and we just started calling it the maze. And we were trying to get through it to other parts of the ship. And while we were in the maze, we realized that something was hunting us. Um, but we are attempting to go down corridors that we believe will lead to the rest of the ship, and that's what we're going. And we've encountered some very strange stuff in here. I'm trying to remember what the last thing we encountered was, and I think again we met some I think we met some kind of like creatures of the darkness, and we're running away from them, or we're going to try to fight them. I honestly, the player, I'm a little iffy because we were all, because I do remember we were all concentrated on our. I hesitate to use the term friend, but our companion Drom, who attempted to commune with the darkness, and the darkness literally took him. And that's how I recall where we were.
I believe that you had been looking into something keeping as composed as possible, but then something happened, which brain and not and like a lack of a rewatch prevents me from remembering. But I do remember distinctly. I think Somni, you were hiding behind Pole as kind of like your, I don't know, uh, kind of like hope in the darkness, I suppose, maybe. Or maybe I'm making it
hmm
more cheery than it sounds.
yes, for Somni, we left off with she did kind of like latch on to Paul, like, protect me because everything is scary and terrifying, and you seem like the most normal person. Which doesn't necessarily mean normal, but everything is relative. So she was hiding near Paul, and she made these drones that she has sent out to various corners of the maze and different like entrances to sort of scan what might be ahead. She was trying to pick up a energy signal to see if it like leads us closer to the engine or like some place of import where we might have some impact on all of this. She did not necessarily encounter that, but she did pick up signals of some kind of membrane, egg sac kind of thing that seem to pulse and react to like the shrinking of whatever monster or whatever thing, whatever is hunting us. And the last we saw of Somni was when they heard again that shriek when Drum was taken. She sort of took the children, the eggs hostage, and the drones are now like threateningly heating up and like threatening to explode in hopes that it will get the monster away from us and go deal with that first.
And I guess that leaves me.
Mhm.
My name is Dom, he, him. I play Quixote, they, them. Last session, after we got out of the like sleeping pod, cryopod area and into this also called maze, Quixote didn't wait for anyone and just went about on their own, just down the corridors that began to just morph and like try to crush them. But Quixote managed to get away fairly unscathed, but he did end up getting like a piece of like the wall flesh is some kind of like parasite latched onto Quixote, which Quixote has now like adopted as a companion and named Sancho. And we left off with Quixote like finding like this giant like foot with like a fan at the bottom that like leads out of this area from what I remember. And before and after this, the creature that brought us on knees, Quixote did blow their whistle to just get the attention of the remaining party as to where their location is. And that's where we left Quixote. But I think we also should mention that Jerome, before he was taken by the darkness and vanished off, vanished off the dark, he did drink the goo. I think that should be mentioned.
He drank the goo.
He drank
Perfect.
it.
Boy howdy. All right, great. And the goo consumed them. Oh my gosh, so good. Okay. So I'm gonna say if like we're okay with a little bit of like darkness fading into darkness and back in into the scene like license. I'm gonna say that you three will find your way back to each other because these corridors and vents are twisty and windy and seem to overlap and not into each other, especially after hearing that shriek. And I think in your own ways, like, glimpsing Drom's ultimate fate. So you find yourselves here in the maze still. A little bit further along than expected, especially if Quixote decides to share their information. But I think you will see a couple of different things. I think you will see Somni has these eggs, and like her drones trained on them. I think you'll see Quixote has like a new friend. Say hello to my little friend. And Pole is looking extra average than usual. So, with a scorched hand, of course. But, yeah. That's where we are right now. What would you all like to do?
So I think Paul got Paul. You know, so I think so. Paul and Somni are there, and we're looking at this. We're looking at these weird eggs, and I think I want to like. I'm not gonna touch them like with my hand, but I think I'm going to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like get a little close to them to try like get a good look. And hold on a sec. Let me see if I've got anything cool in my backpack that could be useful here. Anyway, bottom line is I want to basically I want to try to like figure out if there's anything like I want to examine these eggs to figure out like what they are, what they might have come from, like what they might be, what they might hatch into, and how dangerous they are.
Okay, so come from, hatch into,
Yeah,
and
basically,
dangerous.
I want to try to figure out like what are these eggs and how much of a threat are they? Kind of.
Okay. So again, Somni's drones are trained upon them, maybe like, heating them up a little bit. I mean, we'll see how this goes. All right. So, hunt roll, I assume.
Yep.
Exploring the world, asking GM questions about the world. So, first light die, and your second light die is what? Skill
Um,
or a piece of equipment?
yeah, I have the skill ontology, which is like the nature of things. So I want to try to use my ontology skill here
Nice.
to try to
Okay.
figure out what these things are.
All right. Great. So, two hunt die, please.
Oh, that's bad. I found something terrible.
Two light on both. Oh goodness, so gracious.
I didn't. At least it wasn't snake eyes.
True, true. So
Can I help? Maybe.
yes,
Not
yes. So
it.
okay, so let's do the help roll. Hold on. Let's do this
Um,
officially.
I don't think you can on a. I don't think you can help on a hunt roll. That's only on a wrist
Oh,
roll.
okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Oh shit. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Whoopsie. Okay. Mm.
So I just found.
Mm.
So like I was asking questions about the world, and I found an answer, and what I found was something terrible.
You did. You did. God. Hmm. Or I could allow you to succeed and things will get worse in some other way. Oh, yeah, let's get worse in some other way. Let's have some fun with this, because God knows it is dark. I think as you're tell me how you're using your skill to determine the nature of these eggs.
Um, give me just a moment. Um, yeah, so ontology, according to Webster, ontology is the branch of metaphysics that deals with the nature of being. So I was attempting to place my knowledge of the ship and, like what's going on and my knowledge of cosmos with what I'm seeing here. So I'm trying to figure out like what is the nature what is the fundamental nature of these things. So I'm kind of like, searching through my so I'm searching through like the recesses of my positronic brain and trying to figure out like what I know from my accumulated knowledge about this to try to like figure out how these fit in. So that's kind of how I was doing this, but I was probably like leaning over them kind of closely, and also like maybe if Somni could like send one of the drone in a little closer, so I could like because I didn't want to get too close to these because I didn't want one to like blow up in my face and send something at me. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Somni, your drones are creating, of course, the heat. So you're essentially like, at worst, heating them up to destroy them. At best, incubating them. Because God knows, I mean, like, why not? Birth some weird, terrible things. Um, But I think because of the drones triangulating on these eggs, they're creating a lot of heat and light. So the hallways, in their twisted, warped nature, patchiness of metal and possibly skin, is showing off in great detail. And I think as you're leaning in pole, and you would see this too, Quixote, if you're back with them, even if you're like set apart, you can't miss them. I mean, it's flashing across the hallway, these schematics. Um, you're seeing like the holographic representation of the eggs as Pole is doing this, as doing a cursory scan, but then you're able to kind of like create the pixelated or three-dimensional version of what's in them. Paul, you see that there is circuitry in these eggs, even as they pulse. it's as if the wires and the little boards and little nanotechnology is floating in a base of weaving together with the wires and some kind of dark viscous liquid that looks like it's not only creating the part of the membrane, but also forming nebulous veins within, tying these nanoboards and circuitry together. And it floats, but it's also wispy, as if it's also gas within. And I
So
think,
with an impact, oh, I'm sorry,
go
go on. No, well, you're gonna give you're gonna like tell me more. And then I'll give my reaction.
yeah, and I think in your mind's eye, your android eye, I think you're able to kind of flash into this circuitry looks familiar. It looks like some kind of strange star chart. The star chart is starting to shift in your brain that if you look at it in a particular sense, it looks like a different circuitry board, and then the circuitry board like seems to shift into something that reminds you of what you are made of, possibly combined with something in the dark that has started to feed and also insinuate itself into the circuitry.
So with his still like passive, mildly curious expression, like he leans back and just kind of calmly says, "This appears to be some sort of wherever we are and whatever phenomenon is causing the ship to twist in the way it is. I think we may be witnessing an apotheosis of a strain, I think, of a new form of life that is meshing meshing the technological, that's meshing the technological with the organic, with whatever the nature of this force is. This is fascinating, and it's also incredibly dangerous. I think we are all in grave, grave danger."
As you say that, there is a screech in the air that brings anyone with ears or oral function down to their knees, because it is also in your bones, literally vibrating in your marrow, because you hear something that sounds alternately like a wild animal feral scream tied in with like the scratch and the screech of metal. And I think in your schematic it finishes, Somni, and you can see the eggs, like as if like the 4D model has finished doing its thing, and you see this very amorphous being inside of it that looks like it's made up of circuitry, and in each egg is something with metal and wispy darkness claws. And the claws are moving. The little claws are in and out as each one of them turns in their own egg and starts to claw at the membrane. Soon they will break out. Soon they will penetrate the main membrane and all be born.
Okay, I want to try something. Tell me if this is too much.
Okay.
But I have the ritual repair.
Okay.
And what I would like to do, and I also have the improvise skill.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is I'll take all these drones and knowing that like the heat or whatever, like the monster's not really reacting to it, that's not doing what I want it to do. So I will take these drones and put it against a membrane, and I want to basically create like a self-repairing barrier forever. so that it keeps these things trapped in there and they cannot be birthed.
Oh boy. Okay. Definitely risk.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Holy crap. What do we think could go wrong if, if Somni fails to start?
The creature, like whatever is birthed from this. One thing that could go wrong is whatever is birthed from these is able to utilize, basically absorbs the drones. And now, in addition to whatever, they can also fly.
Oh,
Which
I
might
was
also
thinking.
that might be a devil's bargain, but
I was thinking that perhaps it fails, and instead of adding like this self-repairing aspect on the eggs, the self-repairing goes onto the actual creatures itself, so there are perpetually self-repairing creatures.
Oh my god. I can't beat that. I can't. Uh, okay, so let's build that roll here. Okay. Light die, something you are skilled at. Yes, you've established like the skill that you're using. You're definitely improving. Dark die because you're using your ritual repair. And let's get to the good stuff. What's our devil's bargains to offer to Somni for that extra light die?
Perhaps,
No matter what.
no matter what, the task that you don't have to do, and I imagine like there's probably multiple eggs, so like maybe like all the power that you don't have to like just use up to accomplish this, it will end up with the other drones like maybe like short circuiting and ultimately being useless until repaired later on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, because it basically overloads the drones. Oh
Mhm.
man.
I'm going to go kind of basic and also really scary. No matter what, this action attracts the attention of whatever the thing is that's hunting us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definite no matter what for sure. And I'm gonna say that ooh, doo, doo. I think remember when I said that the holograms and schematics that you're creating are throwing the rest of the hallways into great relief? You can see like, many things down the hallway. I think you're going to see in the light further down one of the hallways, I think no matter what, you're going to see your sibling like kind of like peek through and then like see you, but then they run away.
Mhm.
Yeah. So those are the devil's bargains. Take one or none, as you will.
Yeah, I mean, unless James has one to offer, I think I'll take the sibling one. That sounds fun.
James.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. James will come in on the next roll. All right. So yeah, 2 light, 1 dark, please on a risk roll.
Okay.
All right. Rolled a 4 light. You can add a dark die and re-roll if you so choose. Risk it for a biscuit.
Yeah, you do it, and complication is pretty good. I'll take it.
Okay. Alrighty. So for that. All right. So tell me how you get the drones to create this membrane. I mean, you can see the little things like, starting to tear out of their smaller egg sacs,
Mhm.
and then they'll soon break through, especially together. Like, they could easily break out of the big membrane without
Mhm.
being stopped. So,
Yeah, we see like immediately we see one of the claws with this membrane. We see it kind of like start to tear, and then all the drones they kind of like converge on it, but not with like an impact. Like it's not to damage this thing, but they start like like unfolding until we see them like perfectly fit together. We see Somni's like the mechanical arms are changing and adapting immediately. And then she always has like this medical, like this med patch, like, you know, like the tubes up her nose a little bit, and the tubes going down because she constantly has to be fed medication to stay alive, basically. And we see that something in the tubes changes color slightly, and her eyes go completely dark as she kind of just reaches out. And as she starts changing it, like something so advanced in science that it might as well be magic kind of takes over. And we see one of the claws go through, like break through this barrier of drones. But then immediately another drone like scuttles over and pushes it back and fills up the hole in the barrier. And we see like these little creaks and cracks, but every time a drone immediately comes over and repairs the barrier.
Do you see the drones like almost attach itself to the main membrane, and then like kind of they're like doing the nanite thing of crawling all over and just catching each of the membranous
Yeah, I
things?
think it's sort of like a weird fusion where they can feel where it gets broken and then
Nice.
immediately they latch onto that.
But you will be weighed down because weighed down and kind of impeded like slightly because this is not a small sack. Like I'm gonna say it's like probably the size of half your backpack, and you know, you'll either have to find a way to uh bring it somehow, or I'm gonna say two of your arms are of your mechanical arms. Sorry, two of your
Oh,
mechanical
I'm
arms
not
have to
planning
hold
on
this.
taking it.
Okay, just
Like the
making
eggs
sure.
can stay, yeah, they can stay where they are. Like I don't want to, like I want it far away from me, but
Okay.
I don't want it near me anywhere at all. But like if you want, like I need to leave like two arms to sort of help the repair job like that, that would be okay. But I don't think that somebody wants to take it at
Okay,
all.
I was just curious. I was gonna say because
Yeah.
you like you know two of your arms would be you know non-functional in that way because they have to be
Mm.
there to either hold on to the thing or to take care of it, right? To kind of like support the drones. So,
Yeah, that's totally fine. I think she would, we kind of see like two of the arms detach from the mechanics, like the contraption that she has on as they stay there and like help these drones and keep repairing it.
Yeah, but just think about how much gold that egg might be worth.
You can take it if you want to, but Somni does not want that shit near her. That is gross and terrifying.
yeah, and I think as you get up from detaching the arms and the hologram of the horrible contents of the egg sacs fades in the fading light, I think down one of the hallways, twisty as it is, you see a figure like kind of like look down at you at you all, and you recognize the scared and frightened features of your sibling. She doesn't, she looks as if she sees you because you can see her eyebrows raise, but then she kind of backs away and runs down a different hallway without, you know, saying anything. And you hear the her footfalls in the dark. What do you do, Somni?
I think she looks up and she goes like, Nox? Nox, is that you? But then she runs away and we can kind of see like she starts following. And then after a few steps, she slows down and kind of like a little helplessly looks at Quixote and Paul because she is far too afraid to follow alone, but she is not sure if anyone else will follow.
I'm just imagining that Quixote is back in like that in the room where they were at last session with like the big hall with the fan,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just overlooking, like looking down the hallway where Somni and Paul was.
Yeah.
And I just imagine like that Quixote was in the room, like just watching like this person just come to the hallway, stare down at Somni and Paul, and just ran away, and Quixote was just standing there being like, ah, that's interesting. I wonder what that's about.
Amazing. Amazing. But you do see that Somni has detached her arms, like two of her arms, mechanical arms, and has left them to, I guess, not only hold on to the egg sac, but also power the little drones that are like crawling across the egg sac to make sure that the whole thing doesn't break. Like it's like repairing like each of the possible cracks. But you heard all the commotion as well. You heard the screech and the clawing of metal as well. What do you do in this moment?
Let's see. I think Quixote would. Let's see. We left off with Quixote in this room. There's a big hole in the middle of it, and at the bottom there's like this big fan that's just like blocking the way from the apparent exit. So I think Quixote would probably like try and like just study the fans and like see if there's any way that they could potentially stop them, and if not stop them, if they can just like observe like the how to say that the time it takes for the blade to spin, and like just seeing like, oh, if I jump at this point, could I potentially just make it through?
Wow. Okay. If you really do want to do that, that is a risk roll.
Yeah, I was guessing that.
uh, Before you try it, what do we think could go wrong? The easy way is like I think he's like like Quixote's gonna be like they're gonna be shredded.
Can you recap for me very quickly what you're trying to do?
I think that Kyoto like maybe not like trying to necessarily jump down to the fan and just trying like make it like through the blades as they're spinning. But I think that they're like observing the blade, trying to figure out, okay, what's like the best way to just disable this without just dying.
Yeah, I mean, something that go can go wrong that might also be a devil's bargain is yeah, that fan shouldn't be disabled. It's really important for the functions of the ship that it works. So yeah, you managed it, but you fucked up the ship in a very terrible way.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. I have a kind of version of that, which is that the reason it's not supposed to be off is because it creates a steady airflow through the vents, and then the change in pressure causes like a breach. That's
Uh,
probably more of a devil's bargain, I think.
We'll see.
the
We'll
more I
see.
hear about this, the more I'm convinced I should do it.
Of course you are. Okay, so let's gather some dice here.
And I was gonna say I don't have anything better to offer, so
Don't
yeah.
either. I don't. All right. Light die for doing something you're skilled at. What skill or that you're using from your occupation or background are you using for this? Or piece of equipment?
I think I'm gonna take a piece of equipment. Let's see what else I can take from equipment that could potentially be useful.
Okay.
I think okay, I think I'm gonna take like potentially like an adapter magnet from the equipment.
Okay.
And I'm just imagining that this automatic is going to just maybe like pull the blades so together, and it will just potentially just like there's such a force that one of the blades is just going to like rip off its hinges and just take care of the rest of the fan.
Okay. Fair. All right. And then dark die for risking body for sure. Oh my gosh. And then yeah, now we get to the fun stuff. Devil's bargains. No matter what will happen, regardless of role, to Quixote.
No matter what. the creature was hiding there too.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I'm going to say, like I said before, no matter what, the change in pressure causes a hull breach.
Nice.
Yeah, okay, so for the disc, that's 2 light die and 2 dark die.
No, it's 2 light, 1 dark.
Dark, okay. Let's see. God damn it. I got a 6 on the dark.
Raise your ruin, please. Oh my.
One play. I guess I'm gonna need to use that med kit at one point.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
6
hold
on
on.
the dark and 4 on the light.
Which devil's bargain? I'm sorry, I should have clarified that for myself. Which devil's bargain did you take? No matter what.
I like James' idea. Like I just wanted this to like just completely like mess up the ship.
Okay, so hull breach. Nice. Okay. So that's a 6. 6 dark. Go ahead and tell us like what this looks like with you using the electromagnet to stop the fan.
Yeah, okay, so imagine so Quixote is just going to basically like, just like look around like maybe before the jump, it'd be like give like a quick wave to Paul and Somni. Then they probably just like do like a running sprint down into like this hole. And like it's a fan, so it should have maybe a bit of space like to just stay like in the middle of it. So Quixote is going to just kind of like, jump onto that and just take out this direction magnet. And I already said that their laser arm was illegally modified. So imagine that this direction magnet is also just like illegally modified to be just a lot stronger than it has any right to be. And they just throw it into the van as it's spinning. It attaches like to one of the blades, and it attracts the blade to the other side of it, and it just ends up ripping one of the fans off, and soon like much like the whole gizmo just breaks away in this crash and just like shreds a lot of the surrounding room as well. And I'm gonna just say that I'm gonna say that direction probably has no more uses.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you threw it in there, so it's like, I don't think that they can do it. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, James. All right, so let me circle back to Paul, because I think at that moment that the fan goes off kilter and offline, it's as if an alarm gets set off, because obviously it depressurizes something. And I think if this ship was normal, you would hear the alarm, the lights go off as much as possible. But funnily enough, it sounds like to everyone that the alarm is coming through what sounds like water. Like it's very, very distant, very hollow, as if you have like, pressure in your ears and you can hear something distantly and it's giving you an alarm. Paul, I think you're able to hear this and see this come up on a readout on your console, and it's telling you that there is now a hull breach. And it is down one of the other hallways. And I think
Well,
also too, I'm going to bring out the whole encountering something terrible, which is behind you. Like as the alarm, this distant, like watery alarm sounds, I think you are hearing some clicks. Very loud clicks and chitters.
so Paul's looking at their here's the alarm. He's looking at the readout from the holographic projection from his from his wrist comp.
Mhm.
Sees the little red flash that indicates hull breach and
Mhm.
says, "Well, that is disconcerting." He then hears the clicks and turns around. What does he see?
Yeah, so down this other hallway, and to your perception, even to your android eyes, it almost looks like a slope. Like as if it's not twisty and diagonal like the other hallways, it's more like a slope that's coming from above. And you slowly see first this oily liquid drip down in the dim light of your display. It drips, but then kind of turns into smoke as it dissipates when it lands. And then it drips more and faster. And then all of a sudden, you see this amorphous form just drop, and it turns into, on the bottom, looks like wisps of smoke and liquid, like evaporating. But then the body itself seems like almost like a helmet and pauldrons and chest piece of something that is a tangle of flesh and wiring and jagged steel. And the ends form into what look like automated claws of steel and darkness. There is a head there, and it has a very distant relation to maybe a horse's head with what look like mechanical antennae, antlers coming out of it. There is the glow of a red light coming from where maybe one of its eyes should be, but then it is dripping this dark fluid. And it's chittering at you as it turns its head sideways and shows you a very toothy, jagged mouth.
Okay. Well, that's
I
interesting.
think in combat.
Well, that's
If you want to
interesting.
be in combat.
Um, yeah, I think this is combat.
Okay. So, let's build it.
Is anyone
Right.
else with me?
Yes. So for combat.
I mean, if I'm here all alone, I'm going to do something else, but
I think Somni had hesitated still to see if anybody would follow. So, I mean, like, Somni, you're in front of Pole, a little bit down the hallway. Then there's Pole, and then beyond Pole, you see the you see
so
the creature that's dropped.
the thing is basically coming down from the way we came.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this would be like a good opportunity for the James to finally
Mhm.
step in.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like,
think what Somni will do is I think like she hesitated, but then like when she saw that none of them were going to follow, she kind of started running, pulled back, saw Pole, and we see her like climb up on one of the exposed beams or whatever, and she takes out a sniper, a plasma sniper. So I would like to I guess like I think ranged weapons reduce the endurance, but you don't enter combat. Is that correct?
Ooh, hold on. That's a
yeah,
relatively new rule that I've
it
not
is it is a new rule. Yes, hold on.
that
Yeah,
I've
you
not
can use
encountered.
ranged weapons as a weapon, or you can do what Jazy's doing, and you can use them to lower endurance. So
Um,
Because I think if that would be a cool setup for then like James too. Because then Paul is like still sort of alone, but then
mhm,
James's character comes in
yeah.
like while Somni's laying, suppressing fire essentially.
Yeah, I think in this case, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think in this case, since you're not like technically participating in the combat
Mhm.
roll, I think this more counts for you doing a risk roll to lower the creature's endurance, if I'm
Yep.
correct.
I
Okay.
think that's how it works, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So like,
I'm looking up the rule now.
okay.
think it was
Well,
page 18, wasn't it, that we found it on last time, if I recall. Forgotten. So like,
should have the whole book like laid out, but I don't. Let me see. Pardon for the interruption and exciting mechanics, guys. Whoops.
Well, hey, I want to do this right.
Yeah, no,
Exactly,
absolutely.
yeah.
We want to learn
I
this
don't-
game. All right.
I think it
Ranged
was one of
weapons
the
in
most.
combat. Here we are.
Yeah.
Ranged weapons in combat. I'm just going to read the book if that's okay. It's on
That's
page
okay.
18.
Yeah.
Ranged weapons, such as bows, crossbows, slings, and thrown weapons, can be treated as any other weapon when used in combat. However, ranged weapons may be used to reduce a monster's endurance by putting your ammunition and the use of your weapon at risk. Ranged weapons start with 3 slots of ammunition. Make a risk roll to reduce endurance as normal, but instead of devil's bargains, add a light die for each unmarked slot of ammunition you're willing to risk. For each
Ooh.
light die that comes up with a 1, 2, or a 3, mark a slot of ammunition. When you have no more unmarked slots, you can no longer use the weapon. You can spend 1 gold back in town to clear all marks on a single ranged weapon. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So hold on. Ranged weapons. Okay. So risk roll to reduce endurance. Okay. So what can go wrong? You could flub up the shot and not help pull at all. So that's my like something bad that could go wrong.
Another thing is another thing that could go wrong is like your gun just flat out misfires,
exactly, which
and you got to spend some time to clear the jam or whatever.
exactly. All right, let's build some dice. Light die, so something that you're going to use to do this. So you're using the plasma sniper rifle, and then dark die for risking your body. Yep. And then light die for accepting a devil's bargain.
No, I think it was like for what slots I'm willing to.
Yeah. There's no devil's bargains here. It's
that's right.
it's how much of your ammunition are you willing to risk here?
Yeah, you already have 3 slots available. So how many of those do you want to risk, or put into the
for every one that you choose to gamble, you get a light die.
Yeah. Instead of the devil's bargains.
Yeah, I'm only gonna gamble 1. I don't.
Okay.
I'm scared. We still have some sessions to go.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and mark one of those slots.
No, I only mark it if I now.
You only mark it if you roll a 1, 2, or a 3 on the roll.
My apologies.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
So that's 2 light, 1 dark, please, for risk.
Well, that's not bad at all. I rolled a 5, and
Nice.
I don't do any of my slots.
Yep. Oh, wonderful. Okay, great.
Nice. No ammo used.
All right. So, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I think we kind of see Somni like climb up. One of her arms, I think, actually will kind of like change into this weapon, and it comes like over her shoulder, like she's not even holding it. And it like, there's like a visor that clicks in front of her eyes, and she just kind of like very lightly adjusts it, and then just like these plasma beams start suppressing fire around Bull to protect him.
Nice.
Cool. And that reduces the monster's endurance by 1.
Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and introduce. I'm sorry to like to arrest the action, but I think this is necessary. So I think James, your character will come in response to the breach, but I think ends up in the same hallway or the same crossway that the others are in at the moment. You want to go ahead and introduce your character?
I think basically, because as we've established, the ship is kind of becoming slightly biomechanical, that it basically reacts to this creature like it's an infection, and all of the, fire retardant foam tubes start spraying fire, suppressant, everything just starts like spraying at it. And those of you like Somni with the heads up display, and maybe Paul, and anyone who can see like the readout from the system can just see it just sort of like it's running about 100 error messages at once and saying breach detected, and it says deploying countermeasures. And then just from the roof, there's this kind of aperture just opens, and this kind of ball just drops out of the roof and just studs down sort of wetly onto the floor, all covered in slime. And then limbs kind of unfold, almost like the same as the creature, but not as disturbingly. And like little legs, kind of it rises up on its little hinged legs, and his little arms unfold, and the little head kind of flips out of the chest. And the creature looks up and says, "Breach detected." And just like raises up like these bolt guns and starts like shooting like self-sealing bolts at the creature as well.
And just like the warped nature of the ship, it's like it's not taking care of the whole breach, it's taking care of the weird thing that doesn't belong here. That's great. That's lovely. What is the character's name?
The character has only just been deployed after being stored somewhere for however long the ship has been on its voyage, and is the 28th ASRU, which is or was it autonomous system restoration unit. And this is
Nice.
the one that fell out of the hole. And ASRU hasn't been instantiated before and is booting up, and is a bit confused about what's going on, but basically has decided that the creature is the cause of the anomaly, and that it needs to be sealed up like the breach does. So
Nice.
they're a bit confused at the moment, but just for now, know what they're doing.
Okay. Now, do you want to be participating in the combat roll, or do you want to do a risk roll to reduce the creature's endurance?
It's kind of like the idea actually of doing just repeating what Somni did, because the bolts I have are like self-sealing, kind of like they might stick the creature to the wall a bit. So maybe I'll start trying to sort of seal up the creature
Nice.
in my confusion.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So again, risk roll for this. Let's see. Do. Okay. Light die, something you're skilled at, occupation, background. I'm imagining that repair comes in handy here because the
Yeah,
creature,
as
like
Azri
Asri
knows how to
wants to.
repair.
Yeah, that's
Azri
fine.
repair.
Yep. And then dark die, risking your body because I mean you're like right there trying
Yeah.
to stave off the creature, and
And
then
Azri will use all the slots. The
oh,
breach
okay,
must be sealed.
okay, makes
I
sense.
will use all the slots.
Okay,
Uh,
alrighty. Ho. Okay, so two light or well, so
yeah,
three.
it's
Hold
4
on.
light, 1 dark, I
Yeah,
think it is, because I'm
yeah,
just
four because of
like,
three slots. Yep.
yeah,
So four light, one dark.
I'm just gonna go in and see how we go. So
Oh God.
uh Azri fix. As Azri got a 4, but has lost a couple of slots, but that's fine.
Okay.
I still got a 4.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, I think that's for every 1, 2, or 3 that you get, you lose a slot. So I think I think you've used all the slots of that weapon.
Yeah.
Weapon depleted. Oh well. Azri fix.
Hazard fix. Okay. Um. Yeah. So tell me what this looks like in terms of like you've like Asru sees the creature and then like is now like trying to seal it up, trying to repair where it perceives a breach, which technically, yeah, the hunter is kind of its own breach per se. So yeah, tell me how this looks. Um,
I think it's just literally Azra just like without even really like there any being any gap between unfolding, and just starts like emptying like almost sort of autonomously just emptying all of the bolts, and it sort of sticks the creature to the wall through these kind of rivets that have like gone into the hull, which
mhm.
temporarily means that parts of the creature are kind of pinned to the wall. which might make it easier for the others, basically. And then the rivet, the appendage starts clicking, and Azra just kind of retracts it and looks down at it in a confused way.
Yep. All right. So now we get to Pole's combat roll. All right. So essentially it's you, but you've been helped. So
Okay.
that should work.
Got it.
How you're exposed to injury or attack?
Well, I think so. I'm pulling my pistol. It's like a sci-fi. It looks like basically it looks like a sci-fi like machine pistol.
Hmm.
That's actually, shooting bullets.
Okay.
So yeah, he pulls his pistol, just kind of like stands his ground, gets into like the classic I'm shooting a gun two-handed pose, and just starts shooting at the thing.
Okay.
How
Roll
am
a
I
weak. Roll a
Yeah,
weak
how am
point.
I exposed? I mean, I'm just kind of standing there, so if this thing's gonna like lash out at me,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
my weak point is 6. Great.
Oh God. Sorry. Dark die for each character involved. So 1 dark die, please.
And I got a 6.
I'm sorry.
It's defeated if it's endurance is 6 or less.
No, it's not defeated yet.
Didn't think so.
Okay, so now you add another dark die. So 2.
Well, I took a hit in combat there, so because my ruin goes up. So that was the first round of combat. So like, what does this thing? How does this thing smack me around or like throw acid at me or like what does it do to me?
Yeah. I think even though it's being held fast by like some of the rivet gun rivets, and also Somni like activating the plasma sniper rifle to be able to kind of keep it at bay to kind of give you a clearer shot. I think. Give me a second. As it's opening up its mouth and showing off its wonderful jagged steel teeth, I think there's looks like what looks to be a metal prehensile tongue that's kind of like wrapping itself into a strange spiral, and that spiral turns into a whip, and then it whips some liquid, some of that dark viscous liquid at you, and where it lands, Pole, it's burning. Whether it be on your
Okay,
suit or like your other arm,
got it. So I just got acid burns.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to keep shooting.
Yeah.
And I think Somni will join this round of combat because it's too scary. Paul can die.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Okay.
I can also use my weapon now.
Okay.
I think like
You're-
just
you're
as
just-
a weapon. Yeah.
You're okay, so you're just so you're now just entering the combat. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
need to roll a weak point.
Yes.
Pole, I mean, not Pole. I'm sorry. Quixote, I think as you have crashed through this fan and then slid down and essentially depressurized part of the ship, you created a hull breach elsewhere that nobody knows where it is, including like Asru, but I think you've slid down one of these weird hallways and vents, and you find yourself now where your companions are. It's been very twisty, it's been very strange that wait, they were there and then now you're here. Again, warped ship. So you also find yourself at this crossways seeing the monster. Are you participating or are you kind of holding back? What are you doing?
I was thinking that perhaps Hyote doesn't see them in this combat, doesn't see the creature, probably hears the creature, but doesn't see it because we went down this big hole. So I think Hyote is going to look for the Jerome, because Hyote doesn't know what happened to Jerome, so he's just going to look for the Jerome's, in this case, Jerome's body.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have you do a hunt roll after we finish the combat. So give me a
Yeah, I
second.
didn't wanna intro because I was like, because I said
I-
to just not like, but this is come because I thought that Quixote is pretty far away. There's no way they can actually like help out or fight here. So they're just going to go look for Jadom because they don't know what happened to Jadom. In
I
their
mean,
mind,
but you can
Jadom
hear
is
the you
alive.
can hear the you can hear the sounds of the
Firefight.
yeah, the firefight essentially. So, all right,
Yeah, but
let's
there's also a horde ditch, so people doesn't
all right.
hear that all the horde ditch.
Mm,
So
Alrighty.
since so if we're gonna do another so we've added 2 combatants to this. Looks like folks have welder weak points. This is the
Okay.
second round of combat, so I think we're at combat. So I think this round of combat will be 4 dark dice. Sound right? Sound right, Mads?
3. Hold on. Should be.
We got 3 combatants, and it's the second round of combat. So
Okay.
so we got 3 plus 1.
Sounds right to me too.
Okay. Alrighty. So 4 dark die. Oh boy.
So let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's defeated if its endurance is 8 or less.
Yep. It is defeated. You all combine together to bring this creature down. I want to hear how, again, the
And it looks like one
shots.
of the
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And unfortunately, it looks like a 5 and a 2 both came up in the rolls. So it looks like both Azru and Somni are going to take a hit. But I didn't get hit. I didn't get hit this round.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So for those of you that have your ruin raised, please tell me how, even as you're helping to defeat the creature, the hunter, please tell me how you are injured, in the return fire.
You love it. Because I think Azru basically just clumps forward slowly and starts as if they're like spot welding or cutting up bits of sheet metal, has these 2 hands that are like welders, and just starts welding bits off the creature very slowly, and then welds the wrong bits, and some big pustule of void acid just bursts and sort of melts all of Azru's paint job, and bits of the ablative kind of plating just start. I'm not going to use any of my armor yet because I started with 1, so I'm going to take a bit of damage, save it for later. Bits just melt, but Azru doesn't seem particularly phased and just
Yeah.
keeps welding.
Okay. And Somni.
I don't think that Somni gets hit by the monster, but we see now why she had 4 of these arms. Because hanging there, like the recoil of this weapon on her small, fragile body is just so much. We see her just like shock back every time a shot goes off. And the arm is like trying to compensate for it, but the pressure is supposed to go to the lower arms as well, and they're not there anymore. So every time her spine just gets hit, but she can't stop shooting because she cannot be alone. So we kind of see her like grit her teeth and get smacked back by every recoil as she is just too tiny and fragile to join this fight, but she has no other choice.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. All right. So yes, success. You've defeated the monster. And Pole, you did not get hit by another acid attack, but whatever got burned in the first like splash of acid, acid spit. I mean, like, yeah, that's what you're suffering from. But you all keep firing, and the husk of the hunter comes up, where it collapses, where it is pretty much captured in place, and you see like the supporting viscous fluid like kind of fall as a wash into this bubbling puddle, and then all the tech is kind of sinking into it.
I'll do a quick. I'll see if there's anything. I'll trying my best to avoid getting in that goo. I'm going to see if I want to try to figure out if there's anything valuable in this pile.
All right, so roll for gold, please. You are going to roll 8.
I found 2 gold.
Okay, so yeah.
What did I find?
Give me a second. I'm going to tell you. All right. So I think, again, as the tech is sinking into this pool, it's like not held together by anything anymore. Not the liquid, not like the little nanowires made of the darkness. So it's kind of like just spreading out as it's breaking apart. And you find, excuse me, the first of the things that you find is some kind of strange tech component. You can describe it as just a strange tech component worth 1 gold, like in the search. And it's something that you could possibly, salvage / scavenge for later to put in with something else in a later set, once you see the fabricators and such. But that is something that you find. And then the other thing that you find looks like a corroded power cell. So one of the power cells that you're familiar with, but it looks, again, burned because it's like was part of the creature.
I just
could
went
possibly
to
be repaired. Yeah.
Got it. So I found a corroded battery.
Yeah. You just put down corroded power cell. Yep.
And I just went to a technobabble generator or like oddball tech for the other thing. And I found a quantum shift thruster.
Oh my god. It's sufficiently tech and dirty at the same time. Fabulous. All right, great. One of those. Absolutely. Okay. I think before we get to Quixote's, go ahead.
And I think I'll hand I will hand the corroded power cell to Somni as thanks.
Nice.
For the
Thank you
assist.
very much.
Before we leave this scene for right now, it's like, does Astru do anything like once they see the creature, I guess, discombobulated?
I think Azru can't talk. Azru doesn't have a mouth.
Okay.
But all of you have some level of tech integration, and basically, and Azru has like a neural interface. So they just ping you all, and you can see that you've been added to like a new user group, like a Teams group that is like repair, maintenance, support crew. So Azru has basically like added you onto their list to help them to repair the ship. And then Azru doesn't say anything else and just stands there.
And I assume that we recognize Azru as an Azru unit. Like this is something that would normally be on the ship.
Yes, you'd normally see this like, in any ship really to help with repairs and fixes and everything like that. But yeah, maybe you even see the designation on the like on one of Azru's appendages, like Azru-28. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. Sorry.
Love it. And Paul turns to Somni and says, and it looks like this Azru unit has attached itself to us, so I'm sure it'll come in handy.
Yeah, it did good. And I think you get like Ezra gets a message, like a standardized job well done or good work or something like that you can give to like the unit to get it to praise its algorithms, whatever, something like that.
back, you get back like basically a Gantt chart that shows you how long it is until all the air leaves the ship and everyone dies, and like a line that's like slowly moving, and that's all.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Are
So
we
good.
like near the breach, or is the breach somewhere else? Because I'm a bit confused about that.
Yeah, well,
Like
again,
spatially where we all are.
yeah, you're at a crossways. You had seen your sibling Somni, and like
Mhm.
the again, it sounds like the alarm is coming through water. So it sounds very
Mhm.
hollow,
So
but
it's not
very
like we don't have a
no.
visual on the
You
breach
have
right
no
now.
visual
Okay.
on a hull breach, and
Okay.
you don't have a visual on Quixote, who is nearer to said hull breach. But I mean, like, now searching for Drum's body. Before we get to that, let's take our first break. So let's take 10 minutes. So yeah, the 40 mark. Okay, so see you in 10ish. Yes. Right. So we are back, and Quixote is on the search now, on the move to find Drum's body. Oh my gosh. So let's go ahead and do a hunt roll. And I will say, at this point, this will be the last roll in this particular set because you've essentially achieved the set goal, which is, escape the hunters, survive the maze. Yeah, boy howdy.
Yeah,
So,
by skip the hunter, you can just kill it.
yeah, exactly. So, let's see. Let's build that die roll. So, what skill are you using or equipment are you using to hunt around?
For skills, I'm gonna use this discovery,
Okay.
and it just like because I imagine that in like the original settlement where we started adventure, we spend a bit of time there, and like I just imagine that maybe Quixote just spent some time around Digidome, like not interacting with Digidome, but more a case of Digidome was maybe out in a courtyard doing the dark rituals, and Quixote was just standing like maybe like a little perch above them, just like looking down at Digidome, like not seeing, was just observing.
Ah.
And at this point, Quixote is just like remembering what Digidome said about the darkness and how we should like follow it and like using and just like thinking about like the darkness and just being like, what would Jerome do in this situation? And then it just allowing their own like instincts just like take them to where they might find Jerome because you know they just saw Somni and Paul in the corridor, but they've yet to see Jerome in quite a while. So they're curious, like, what is Jerome? Like I hope nothing bad happened to him.
Interesting. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's find out. Go ahead and roll two die on the hunt roll, please.
And kind of something terrible.
Oh God. 3 light, but something terrible. I think you do find Drum's body. Or the remains of Drum's body. I'm gonna allow James to narrate this particular part because you basically were consuming the darkness as we lauded in the very beginning of this session. Like he drank they drank the goo, which is beautiful, but then also you were also consumed by said darkness as well. Please tell me what Quixote finds as they find Drom's body.
I think I'm just gonna have a quick. I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, I don't think we have any trouble with this. So basically, it's like a husk, like a bog body. Like it's basically about this big, shriveled up, and sort of like desiccated. And there's all of the sort of implants and things, and just this like black, shriveled little husk that was once drawn. That's kind of every bit of moisture has been sucked out, and it looks like it's like 1,000 years old.
But I think as you're looking at this husk, I think imagine finding a wasp's nest. That's what the husk looks like with the holes, but very papery thin. But it's not made of paper. It's made of, well, whatever substances the partially claimed corpses were made of. So there are bits of uniform in there. There are, again, drums, tech included in this thing. And I think underneath the papery thin substance, you see something moving. Do you remain to look, or do you run?
I'm just going to be incredibly stupid, but it really just feels like the character. Upon seeing Jerome's decrepit body, Quixote is going to let a few tears. Just be like, "Oh, Sir Jerome, if only I was there to help you. I should remember this day for the rest of my life." And Quixote probably wants to give Jerome a proper burial, but they know that they cannot carry Jerome's body. It would be too inconvenient for the quest, so Quixote is going to put their leg on Jerome's torso, grab his head with both arms and just rip Jerome's head off to carry it around with them, and they start maybe find a few wires and just make a makeshift noose, tie the head to it, and then put the head to the side, just dangling off other side. And hopefully that doesn't disturb whatever is in Jerome's body.
I gotta give you something terrible, man. Holy crap. But that's amazing. Oh, God. Start for that before I forget. Oh, my God. See, you rolled something terrible, and I want to give you something terrible, but I know it's going to push you into the lost territory. Do I make you do it? Do I make you do it? I don't know. You should be lost, damn it.
I should just note. So, Jazy, he didn't sever the head. He tore it off.
I know.
Tore it off.
I know,
That's
but
severing it in a sense,
Yes,
right? Like
yes,
taking it from the body.
yes.
Yeah, but it wasn't clean.
Right, but I mean,
I never said separate cleanly.
no. I mean, because again, it's a shriveled, desiccated husk. I mean, it's not going to be tough.
Severed in the sense of detached.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Tomato,
All right.
tomato.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna make a demand here. So I mean, shit. Yeah, I think in disturbing the body, in tearing the head off, you are going to encounter, and you are so close. I'm so sorry, Quixote, but you are so close. I think what surfaces as you take the head, it's almost as if it's being brought out of Drom's body. As you're it slides out as soon as you take the head. And it is the strange techno talisman that Drom had found. It's like it was dragged away, or it was pulled away from the body and almost rises to the surface as it floats on an inner gooey core. You find this, and it almost shines with an iridescence that you have not seen in quite some time, even in your dreams in the pod. Out of character, I will warn you, if you do take it, you will be lost. But it is presenting a very, very tempting souvenir right now to you.
The thing is, Quixote doesn't really care about religious, so this talisman to them probably just looks like a tacky piece of jewelry that would probably fit each dorm, but they're on a mission at the moment. They cannot waste time and such trifle matters. And Quixote is just going to ignore the talisman.
But Sancho's calling out to it. It's throbbing. It wants to be with it. And it's almost verging off of your arm in its intensity to want to be one with the talisman. How do you ignore that? If you do, Sancho will tear itself from your form with considerable pain.
Quixote is going to duck to the flesh, duck Sancho. Like, yeah, fellow, we cannot do this. We must get into a mission. I know that this looks shiny, but I must be on our way. And without missing a bit, probably just like smacked his hand and like a nearby wall where the flesh is. I just will get it to behave.
So you're doing what now with Sancho?
Quixote is basically just saying it. We don't have time for this, and then just like slams that arm that has like the bleeding flesh on it against like a wall or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh boy. Alrighty.
I did say this was going to be probably incredibly stupid, and Quixote is an unhinged character, so this just fits perfectly with
Okay.
them.
Just say it. Oh god.
Oh god.
All right. So I'm gonna say this is definitely risky. Sorry. What could go wrong as Quixote tries to violently remove themselves or separate themselves from this sentient flesh?
No, I think I
I'll
should
go for
clarify.
Go ahead.
I think I should just clarify that Quixote isn't trying to get rid of Sancho. He's just like
Trying to get it
using
to calm down.
yeah, just get it to come down. Just using like some tough love.
Oh my.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll for what can go wrong. The obvious one. Sancho doesn't like this and attacks back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sort of create a version of that, which is like Sancho breaks off and grows a body and then attacks you.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing better than that.
No, I don't. That's good. That's good. Oh my god, they're both good. Okay.
And the body looks just like you, but with black eyes.
Oh. Oh no. Sorry. What skill in your occupation background or piece of equipment do you want to use to help you to calm down, Sancho?
My skills and my background. Let's see, I'm already at 5. That I was thinking that perhaps I could use my ritual to just anesthetize it, like not to remove it, not to kill it, but just like to get it to calm down.
Corroded enough to get it to calm down.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a dark guy instead of a.
No, I mean, like, well, okay, so like that definitely for activating any ritual automatically gets you the dark dye, and if you don't feel, pardon, excuse me, If you don't feel that any skill from your occupation or background applies, then that means you would only get a light die if we can apply a devil's bargain. So you don't feel that you can
Yeah,
apply any of the...
I don't see how
Okay.
this could apply. Maybe someone else like has an idea, but looking at my skills, athletics, and notice flexibility and discovery, I don't really see how that applies to this situation.
If you want to, I could see an argument for athletics where your body is so used to, you have stamina, you have endurance. So like this isn't like basically how far you can go before you really start damaging your body because like you have athletics, martial arts training. I could see that argument, but I don't know if that makes sense for Quixote necessarily.
I think I'll just go with the devil's bargain in that case because probably does know their limits. It's just that they probably just ignore those limits whenever they come up.
Got it. Devil's bargain, no matter what. I think, hold on, let me check your conditions.
No matter what, that talisman is going to follow him around.
I think no matter what. I'm not sure like how to put this in words. So if somebody like can recap it after this, feel free. But like basically, like you want to be a hero so badly, right? Like you are trying to feed this hero complex. And I think like no matter what, there's like gonna be a moment where I don't know, you see yourself reflected or whatever, but something about this like conflict, this fight is gonna be so brutal that you will have to admit to yourself that at least in that moment you were not a hero. And like sort of this is the seed of doubt where you start being like, oh fuck, like that moment is gonna be this moment, if that makes sense.
I can think of. I actually like that one like a lot as well. But the only thing I can offer just to add is that Sancho keeps changing now. It won't stay like a human arm, but either becomes like 6 claws or a tentacle or whatever, and keeps cycling through strange appendages like a crab claw or a scythe.
Yeah.
Okay, so for devil's bargain, we have talisman follows Quixote around. Quixote has doubts about themselves, and Sancho now metamorphoses around.
Yeah, cycles through metamorphosis. Yeah, those are your 3 choices.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the 4th option, all of the above, just take them all. Because all of them just sound great to me.
Oh my god. Okay, so basically that only gets you the 1 light die, but feel free. Some people just really love that stuff. It's beautiful. 1 light die, 1 dark die for your risk roll, please. Oh my god.
So 1 light and...
1 dark. 1 light, 1 dark.
Okay, so 1 dark for the lead shot and 1 light for the devil's bargain.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I got a 4 on the light.
You succeed with complication, or you can risk it for a biscuit and add a dark die to re-roll. So 1 light, 2 dark.
I'm at 5 dark. Not
5 ruin.
5 ruin. So statistically, I should be fine, but I say this while apparently holding 6 sanity dark die all the time in the trophy games. So I'm just gonna take this complication for the now because I want to see like where Quixote goes with these new developments.
I just have to say I love like the constant aiding and abetting in the chat. Okay. It's like cheering. Sorry. Trying to compose myself. Please tell me how this ritual looks to calm Sancho down.
So how this looks like is Quixote is going to invoked Richard, which I imagine is less like some like innate power and more like they have like just like this little device that upon that little capsule that once released onto something, it like does this necroting effect. So Quixote opens up this little capsule and it just basically just smears it over a Sancho. Like that's like doesn't hesitate, like no empathy behind Quixote. So just like smears like this necrotation like powder or Sancho just does it. Down boy, down. We have much work to do ahead of us. And that probably imagine that Sancho maybe like shrinks a bit for the moment from the anectization, but probably like just then like expands, maybe bigger than it was before, due to the metamorphosis nature that's going to get. But maybe it was like enough just to get it like to momentarily stop.
It stops. It's still. You don't feel or hear anything from Sancho, as if Sancho, for the moment, is at peace. But please feel free and add all those wonderful devil's bargains that you took and put him in his conditions. So, Sancho metamorphosis, that's one. Please remind me of the other two. God damn. Oh, man. Oh, doubt. Doubt creeps in as you don't hear anything from Sancho. It's like you have silence, and now there's this. How heroic really am I? Or that's the condition, like, how heroic? Question mark. And then, what was the last one?
And the Techno Amulet now follows.
Oh, yes. As it's silent, I think you see the talisman not fade, like sink away from view in the body husk, back into some goo, and you see instead, an afterbrand of the symbol on it appear on Sancho's form for a brief second before it disappears. So, yeah, I think that'll do. So Techno Amulet in Pursuit, in a way, yeah, in a way. So yeah, I think in the silence for Quixote, I think it's a moment of respite, and you're thinking of these things, and it's almost like there's shifting panels. Your vision might go a little bit blurry. Same with the rest of you all. Even Asru readouts, scanners, might go offline for a sec. It's almost as if like a small EMP has hit your area. And then when it comes back online, I think you'll see the shifting of the hallways yet again. And then there are the double doors leading into the underhull as you complete the set goal for the maze and enter the underhull. So, yay! Made it out of set 2. Just as a go ahead.
I would love to do something in this EMP, but only if James is okay with it, because it's going to interact with your characters. So I think what Somni would love to do is, as your systems boot down or some firewalls are taking down in this EMP, what she would love to do is, as you start back up, she's going to give you just a few extra lines of code, just a little bit of extra programming, and she's going to like kind of reprogram you, like not only as a protector of this ship, but as a bodyguard bot to her personally. whether that works, how that manifests is totally up to you.
I like that. That's a bit like never harm an OCP employee, like in RoboCop. Yeah, no, that's
Oh
great.
my.
I'll put that as a condition.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's just Somni is like, yeah, protect me. It's terrifying.
Amazing.
As you continue.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. So yeah. I think that though when you see it, Quixote, you're coming from a different direction. But I think this is where you all will find yourselves in this underhull area and will see, you know, Somni and Pole entering in with Asru-28, like, you know, kind of moving behind them. And then your panel slides open, Quixote, and you're coming from a close entrance to theirs. And so this place is the Underhull. It seems to be a place of refuse, waste, things forgotten across the ship, where they go and settle. It's a Hadal zone encased in metal, suspended in the absolute void. There seems to be some kind of chemical rain that drops. Your dim lighting from whatever sources you have see this rain fall upon the refuse, and you can see evaporation, dissipation, and disintegration from this gentle rain that seems to fall from someplace above. This place is full of rusty sediment. The set goal for here, for the Underhull, is gaining access to the fabricator forges to make the tools that you will need. As the rain falls, there are shallow pools of chemical slurry filtering down from the whole ship. You can see like some of the little holes in the walls high above that seem to spill gently into this place. I think all of the readouts, everyone's console plus Asru's display will indicate that there are these fabricator forges here, but you have to find them among all this garbage.
Do our readings suggest that the breach is still a problem, or is that, like we are airlocked in and like it's sort of, like areas are affected, but not everything in the ship, as you like often see in shows?
Yes, I mean basically you've come into a new area that's essentially like kind of locked away from where that
Right.
hull breach
Absolutely.
was not really described. I mean, again, you heard the alarms,
Mhm.
but then they
But we didn't see it,
dropped after a
yeah.
while. Exactly. So
Yeah, then I think we see Somni, as you say, like if the rain is coming up and we're sort of like still inside the ship, then we see her scurrying, um, like scurrying up. She has to use her actual arms now, so the climb goes considerably slower as her own arms can't really pull her up as much. But she'll kind of go like from a very like high place, black hairs falling, cascading down her face, obscuring her face, and she will use this overview to kind of have a look and see if there's anything that she can pick out with her, like her readings.
okay. You want to call that a hunt roll?
Absolutely.
Okay. Go for it. And just as a reminder, at any time you can say, hey, I want to trade in a hunt roll to find something. I mean, a hunt token. Sorry, a hunt token to find
gold,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
What do you think, you're using to skills, background, occupation?
I feel like I'm eternally on repeat, but Teg seems like I can recognize these pieces.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense to you.
Yes.
Um, Otherwise, I think the lights that I still have could also work. But I think just me recognizing what I need, like this is sort of what I do,
Okay.
makes a lot of sense.
Sure. All right, go for it. Two. So your specific question is to see what you can find, like to see if you can recognize pieces of the forges here.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like,
Okay.
what do I recognize that's helpful?
Cool. All right, go ahead and roll 2 dice on the hunt roll, please.
Okay. We're getting some tokens.
4 light on both rolls, but encounters something terrible. Awesome. Okay. And you're saying you're getting a higher view of everything, correct?
Yeah, she basically like kind of scurried up. Like that seems to be her go-to move in like every situation that she's in. Get like high, get hidden, and sort of like I think maybe by now, like only Paul having seen her do this like several times and maybe with augmented vision can like still see where she is. But I think like if you were to just enter this room, like she's just disappeared. Like she always seems to get in like the tiniest space to hide and then just look down at what's happening.
Okay. I want to know what everybody else is doing before I start describing like all the fun stuff that will happen.
I think that Quixote is going to like approach Ford and Astro. It's Somni's Idealist she doesn't see this, but
Mhm.
Quixote is going to approach Paul and Astro. And I think like Paul, maybe Astro, depending on how good Astro is at recognizing emotion, can clearly see that Quixote is upset. And they like go up to Paul, Astro will be like, "Sit, Paul," and whoever a new friend might be. I'm sorry to say, I found, and Quixote just going to like, bring up like Jerome's head up to like your face and be like, I failed to save a silly Jerome. Oh god. And like you go like there's like some tears, like there's some water was going on, but not too much. And this was probably the first time that Paul has noticed because it's probably the first time since like we entered the maze that Paul has seen Quixote after they got a Sancho, and so that's probably also like the new thing that Paul might notice.
So you're showing Paul the severed head of blanking on the
Yeah.
character's name, Drum.
Yes.
So this is one of the rare occasions where you actually get a bit of an emotional reaction from Paul. It's you know, he cocks his head to one side and then to another and says, "Well, I guess that tells us what happened. Why are you carrying his head around?"
So Jerome, he was a fellow, almost trusted companion. I couldn't just leave him in the dark. So, but his body, was too inconvenient on this journey. So, if not else, I took it his head so that Sir Jerome, wherever he may be, can forever watch over us and still be part of this journey.
Are you planning to attempt to attach this to a neural recognizer to extract memories? Because that's that is a very difficult procedure and requires highly specialized equipment.
So, Paul, do you look like someone that knows the way around your technical gizmos?
No, which is also why I am questioning the action.
I will not do such a thing to Sir Jerome. I'll simply keep them around, carry them to the end of this journey. They would have liked to see the end of it. And afterwards, once we saved the ship and all its inhabitants, we can put Sir Jerome to rest. Perhaps even erect a statue in Sir Jerome's memory as the hero that valiantly sacrificed themselves to save us all.
Fascinating. I would recommend that you perhaps keep that hidden. I don't think Somni would react particularly well.
Do tell why you think that Dame Somni would not be joyous to see her old friend and companion Jerome. So Jerome still with us.
Well, it's not normal. It's not typical to be carrying around the dismembered head of a former companion.
So I see that you've not had too many friends before, if that is your opinion.
I've had many friends. I've even lost a few, and I've never had the urge to carry a head around.
I guess we ought to grieve in our own special ways. Anyhow, who is this fellow? And they point to Astu.
Oh, this is a out of character. James, what does the acronym stand for again?
Autonomous System Repair Unit.
This is an autonomous system repair unit, designation 28. It activated. It activated. There was apparently some kind of hull breach. It activated in an attempt. The ship activated. This class of ship has many repair units, such as Azru here, and we defeated a strange, anomalous creature, with its assistance, and it's been following us around ever since. And I think it's good to have a repair unit with us. And at that, Paul looks at Azru and just kind of nods. Treating it as, Paul is clearly treating Azru as a machine.
So that's the. May I call you that?
I think Azru basically sends you a thing saying that the head is dead, thinks that you think that the head is alive, and then turns around and looks, because Azru hasn't figured this out, but there's a geofence around Somni, so Azru has to stay a certain distance away to be able to protect Somni, but looks up and basically says to Somni, "Do you require repairing?" And then just sort of stands there looking at Somni.
Quixote is going to just quickly look to Paul. Does Astu not speak?
Apparently this unit does not have a speaker, and only communicates via texting. That's typical for units of this model.
But how do we communicate in that case?
I think Azru sends you a sort of tech, a list of how to communicate with Azru from Azru's specs.
I think at this point it becomes clear, at least to maybe Paul, maybe also Azru, that Quixote has no idea how to access their text messages at all.
Oh my god.
If you probably open the app, you probably see thousands of unread messages and mails that Quixote just never did because he had no idea how to access it at all.
Does Quixote have the equivalent of a Mac, and we're all using Windows and a program doesn't compute?
There's a red blinker light or whatever that's attached to the message icon, in the hologram, and it's it's just blinking. It's blinking a lot. Okay. God.
I have no idea what it might be. It's always been blinking for as long as I can tell.
Everyone's using iMessage, and he's got an Android.
pretty much.
Pretty
It's in
much,
green
yeah.
rather than blue.
I think Azra is determined that Quixote is defective and requires and should be returned. That a module needs replacing, but it has
Oh, such a thing, description.
prioritized other tasks for now. I think in terms of what Azra is going to do now, I think Azra, I'm playing to genre, has detected that another Azru, or presumably what's left of an Azru, is buried under all the scraps somewhere, and thinks that there might be some information about the replicators in the Azru's like system memory.
So hunt roll for you.
Yeah, I'd like to go look for my brother.
Oh my.
The other another Azru that I can
Shimmer.
tell is like buried somewhere, basically.
Okay.
Presumably with improvisation of just like looking under things and lifting them out the way.
Brother detected. Okay. So two two dice on the hunt roll, please.
Four.
Okay. You get a token. Also, and encounter something terrible. Wonderful. I think you will both, because since Asru has gone up to where Somni, or near Somni, and then is also taking a higher perch to this, I think you will both see the same thing. And give me a second. Just want to. Okay. I think from your high vantage point, Somni, and Azru, as Azru comes up to be near you, you will hear and see like some hulking metallic wrecks in the sediment. They're floating / like kind of separating. They're groaning and shifting in this mess. And I think you will notice there's movement among the wrecks, but you can't quite tell what they are in the dim light. Even the chemical rain that's coming down, which you are currently sheltered from at the moment through some of the high awnings, you will see that there's something scuttling, but you can't quite tell what. But you can see some luminescent tendrils or feelers or something like among the wreckage. But then I think you are hearing a scuttling near you on the wall. Clicks and ticks as it makes its way nearer to your position. And I think you'll see on this particular bar ledge, on the walls, blending in to some of the rust and chemical stains of the walls, you'll see these things. They come different shapes and sizes. It's almost camouflaged, as they are also drenched in this chemical sediment. They are a hodgepodge of synthetic flesh, sharp-pointed legs, and you can sort of see like gnashing mandibles made of tech and wires as it comes closer to you. Should have checked safety first. Let me give me a second. Okay, good. Nobody said anything about spiders, because that's basically what they seem to be. Spiders the size of dogs.
Yeah, I think what Somni will like to do, like she's going to try and run rather than fight, if that is an option.
Yeah.
So what she will do is, you say that there's like rain, but presumably we are still inside, so the rain is coming from like a leak or a pipe or something, right?
Basically consider it like, again, since you are in the underhull, as I think somebody mentioned in the chat, like kind of like the bilge. Imagine it's like kind of like, it's a big place with a
Mhm.
bunch of tech like sunken in sediment and pools and everything like this, and like the rain is kind of like condensation and then coming down.
Mm,
So
okay.
yeah, it's that big.
Right. Okay. In that case, I think what she would like to do is knowing, being an engineer, knowing where everything is in the ship, I would like to place like a shot that's basically, like do the steam out of the pipe, like that kind of thing. And it's going to like go off right next to the spiders and hopefully like topple them off the beam to
Okay.
get rid of them.
Okay, so this would be a risk roll then, like
Mhm.
not full on combat. So
And I'll also scream
okay,
for
so
Paul and Azru and Quixote and all of them.
right. Well, Azra's nearby because I mean, like they have to
Yeah.
keep a certain distance to just like feel like they're in your perimeter.
Mhm.
What can go
Drew
wrong?
will immediately help in the role if you need it, is how basically I'm interpreting this. So if you need it on the roll, Azru will come in and help.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, what could go wrong, do you all think?
yeah.
You could fall off the beam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one.
I
Um,
I think what could go wrong is Somni now has like two of like four robotic arms. Maybe as she's trying to get away, one of the spiders grabs onto one of the arms and like yanks it off.
yikes. Yeah, that could definitely. I mean, like you're already off balance, so I mean, like this could definitely set you off poorly.
I
Uh,
kind of love the theme of her being a spider herself, and one by one her limbs are being pulled. Like that's sort of the image that I'm getting from her now.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Okay, let's go gather
think
some dice. Go ahead.
Also, potentially there's an avalanche and the island sort of starts to sink into the goo because it's
Mhm.
subsiding.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Gather your dice. Light die. Something associated with your skills or your occupation background or some useful equipment.
Improvisation, I think.
Okay.
Despite everything, she's quick on her feet. She knows how to use her environment.
Okay. Dark die. Risking body for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Light die. Devil's bargain. No matter what. I think in doing so, you're going to get exposed to the rain and find out exactly how corrosive it's going to get.
No matter what, these arachnobot things have taken have taken an interest in Somni.
She's one of us. One of us. Look at this poor little spider without her legs.
Oh man.
We must give her new legs.
Oh no.
Yay!
Oh god. Anybody else want to offer something? Devil's bargain.
I like the idea that they try and become your new legs. If like you defeat them or like basically instead of defeating them, you basically, they try and attach themselves to replace your missing limbs.
Sancho 2.0.
Oh man, love it. Any of
Yeah, I'll
those?
take that one. I think, I mean, not necessarily attaching them, but I think it's interesting if they keep sort of being interested in her, whatever that
Oh,
may mean.
Yeah, they try. They don't have to succeed, but they'll try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. So
two light, one dark.
per, yes. Risk.
That is a 5 dark, and my ruin does go up.
Oh my god.
I don't think you can mark
Can't mark armor for
armor
a risk roll.
only
That's
in combat, right?
Only in combat.
Okay, makes sense.
Generally
Makes
only
a
in
lot of
combat.
sense.
I have occasionally allowed people to mark it if the ruin roll was kind of sort of like a combat, but I wouldn't necessarily do that here. But I'm also not the GM.
Yeah, no, I'm fine to take it. I just wanted to check.
Right. No, that's why I'm kind of like I'm upset. Sorry. Okay, so yes, please tell me how you succeed, and I'll give you the complication besides the whole taking an interest in you.
Yeah, I think we see like that one arm is like sort of already scuttling away as she, like her feet as well. We see like, the beam and her tiny feet, her combat boots are going backwards. And we see once again like that arm making itself into this plasma weapon. And it goes off perfectly, like it shoots and there's only like the hissing at first, and there's that beat where nothing seems to happen as the spiders come closer and closer, and like all of a sudden this like huge steam burst comes out of it. There's like black ichor and oil and I don't know, like other things that just like splurge all over these arachnobots with like such force. But I think like again, sort of the recoil of that weapon, everything that's happening here also throws Somni backward, hanging on only by that one spider arm.
I'm sorry, I should have offered because I didn't check the chat in time. Did you want Astru's help? Since they're
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think Azure is basically compelled to help by the programming. So I can try and roll
Mm.
the dice, and if I can get a 6, then that would help you. But otherwise, I might just end up in it as well. So, but I think Azure would just try and like get you away from them essentially.
You really want to roll a 6. You really don't want to roll a 5.
No,
Yep.
it'll probably be like a 1. I got a 2, so he doesn't get there, or they don't get there in time.
Okay.
Mhm. But thank you.
Okay. All right. But anyway, yeah, you're
Mhm.
yeah, so you do knock off the one spider, but I think there's smaller ones. Like the one or two that you saw that you knocked off the wall, but then you don't realize as you're hanging there, I think that there are smaller ones that you finally see. They're not arachnobots per se, but I mean they're similar looking. And then this one has like the luminescent feelers, and they will actually like come over to your arm, the single arm that's holding on, and they're kind of like tapping and examining your arm. And I think one of the feelers will actually like, feed into your arm. And it looks like it's pulsing as if it's like either sucking something out, bringing something in, not sure. And you see your arm glow with like that bioluminescence for a few seconds before it goes away.
Yeah, I think the ruin also happens because I think we see like one of the spiders like seeing me hanging and
Mm-hmm.
having this interest in me. Like they shoot like some kind of webbing or whatever to like keep me from falling because they're like, we need to
Mm-hmm.
help. But
Yeah.
I think we see Somni like her eyes go wide and we get all these fragmented flashbacks to she's in the dark, a tight space. She can't move, and all around her there's shittering and movement and clicking, and she can't move, and it's right behind her and she can't move, and she starts to struggle but she can't move. And I think sort of like that, getting caught back in that trauma is what causes the rune to go up along with that pulsing.
Absolutely. Mm. I'm trying to think of like what condition to give you for that. Because I mean, like it sounds so simple, but I don't want to. It's not that simple. It's like I was gonna say like something like analysis paralysis, but it's not. It's not necessarily that. Um, just put temporary paralysis for now, and then we'll change it as needed. But I think that's where we're going to Somni hang for the episode, and then we will move into Stars and Wishes. So Quixote, Paul, like you like I think we end with you seeing this happen as you see Somni like shooting at something, and then also Azru trying to help but not getting there in time, and hanging there with these things that seem to be gleaming, um, and holding Somni in place, just by the single arm. All right, so you made it to the underhull, but trouble ensues, of course. So let's do a round of stars and wishes. Oh my gosh, so many things I want to star. I'm just gonna go first, just cause. Holy crap! Quixote doing the most insane things this session. Holy crap! I enjoyed that, even though I was partially fascinated and disgusted by it at the same time. But it just seems so fitting, and I don't know why. I mean, like talk about anti-hero. Jeez. Creepy as fuck. I'm sorry, but that's the way it goes. And I really enjoyed that. Poe, just your stoicism in insisting upon being the most normal one here, even though you're just as much of this ragtag crew as everybody else. Wow. So star for that. And then Somni, I mean, just the character stuff that we found out today. I mean, like, you know, needing the inhaled medicants, the whole idea of those forearms were very important, and slowly losing them, like having, like, you know, Somni paired away. I'm scared for her now. I don't want her to go, but I mean, geez, this poor girl. Damn. Yeah. So star for all of that. Jazy, you give so much of backstory without giving like a ton of exposition, which I love. And Azru, like, is a welcome addition to this crew. I just think the byplay between Azru and the rest of the group, plus also the whole hidden Somni coding thing, is really interesting. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. Who knows whether they're going to succeed in keeping Somni alive? But I want to see this strange AI figure themselves out for sure. Yeah, and wishes, of course, more of the same. More moments together, but definitely more danger, and, like, you know, really digging into the ship. I mean, like, we're only in the third set. We're gonna be going into the fourth session. Oh god. Oh man, I'm excited. We get as far as we get. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, if you manage to get to your goal, fantastic, and if you don't, still, this is such a great incursion for seeing, like, you know, gold work, but also very dark with a capital D. So I'm having fun. Hope you are too.
I'm happy to go next. Stars all around. This is a really fun session. This is probably the most. This is among the most dark-esque gold incursions I've seen. Yeah, I'm really having fun with it. Just like, you know, the weird. I'm just getting a huge, like, H.R. Geiger feel of the whole, like, biomechanoids and how the ship has been twisted into something that's borderline organic. And yeah, it's just super creepy, super weird, and I'm really enjoying this. Big start of Mads for, like, setting the, you know, just setting the tone, and just, like, really going hard with the creepy and the weird and the you know, and the goo. Oh, so much goo. Big star to Dom. I loved that little scene between Quixote and Paul when you displayed that you have a severed head. Oh my god. And then how you didn't think it was weird at all to be carrying around a severed head. And how you seemed to take a certain amount of offense at the suggestion that carrying around a severed head might be a little strange. I loved that. We're getting so more about, oh my god, Quixote is really, really a weird guy. Loved it. Loved it. I want to echo, and Jazy, I want to echo what Mads was saying. Just like the way you're just dropping in just little hints of Somni's backstory. I love it. You're like saying so much about this character with so little, and it's just, like it's just like, oh, dropping another like little matter of fact detail. And also just I also love that I'm getting a really, really good feel of Somni's personality and how she's, kind of scared of everything, but at the same time is also actually pretty competent. And yeah, that's just really fun. I like how we didn't get a chance to like play up the the previous session. You were kind of like hanging on to Paul as a protector. We didn't really get to play that up much this particular session, but I'm hoping we can return to that. And James, like I love your new character, Azru. He's awesome. I love the fact that you decided that Azru does not have a speaker and communicates via text, only communicates via text messages. That's really cool. That's really cool. And yeah, I want to see more. And yeah, I just want to see more of how our new little robot friend is going to how he's adding to our.
Your sound went out, Mike. It's still out. It's weird. I don't. Oh no. Ooh. Oh, headset battery dying.
I thought
Okay.
so, because it was like in the
I was
middle
like,
of a sentence.
I was like in the middle of
I
a
think
sentence
the
and you
battery
just
went
kept on
down.
talking. That was, oh my God, that was the weirdest thing. I was like, am I going insane? What is going on? Okay. Oh
Six
Kind
God.
of just
ruined
keep going.
mess.
They keep going bloop bloop bloop, and then you get used to them making that noise, and then they just suddenly cut out.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you
Yes,
now.
Yeah.
You just cut out in
Sorry.
the middle of
Yeah.
a sentence and I was trying to tell you, it's like, couldn't hear.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry. The battery on my wireless headset died.
hate
So
that.
I just.
Oh, now you're silent again. Damn it. God.
We have silver lining. This happened at the end of the session instead of in the middle of one.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, it happened at the end. Oh no. Let's while he's figuring that out, let's move on to someone else. So, who wants
All
to go
right.
next?
Yeah, I can go until we have Mike back.
Yeah.
Yeah, stars. James, I loved your introduction of Asru. I thought that was very fun to go with like I kind of love the interplay with Paul and Asru to have like the super obviously mechanical one and then like the hidden android among us. I think that's very cool. And that's also kind of why I wanted to do like the oh you are my protector too, because you kind of get like that foil of like Paul is more sentient and makes like his own choices and all of that. And then we have Asru who's just like at least for now, seems to be like fully, like programmed or robot like this and like an AI, but still, like has much more programming to it. So I'm like, that's also a wish I would love to see where these foils go. Like, how does that interact with each other? How does that influence each other? What opinions does Paul have about like a full machine? Um, I think that would be very cool. I also love like how you just dropped from the ceiling and started shooting bolts. That's very funny. And I love how you keep sending diagnostics. Like, oh, here's the hull breach. That head is dead, by the way, just so you know. I got that for you. I picked that up. That was really fun. Yeah, for Mike, agreed. I love like the the Somni and Paul, like Somni running away, and then like because I don't think that she would have helped Quixote, but she helped Paul because she's like both because there's like that element of you're who I trust to protect me, but also because I do think that she genuinely latched onto him as someone to care for. So like I really like that. I also just love how like both how that really stoicism like came out and like how heroic Paul was, just like I'm just gonna stand my ground and I'm just gonna fight this thing like basically alone for like the first round of it, and even the second round like you were in the fray and Somni's like way back with a much safer position, at least narratively. So I thought that was like a really cool moment to see Paul like in full action hero mode. I thought that told us a lot about who the scientist of this thing is. That was really cool. For them, yeah, I mean, obviously starring the severed head and just like the complete out of this world logic of it all. Like you can really tell that Quixote is like not like he's not human in that sense where where they're not human in that sense where they're like making choices that we would find logical, and I'm like really interested like where the hell did they grow up, like what the hell happened to them that these are like logical choices to them. And I think like that's a really interesting way to play it, especially like in this sci-fi world that we have, to like bring us like a super alien character in that sense. Like it almost feel like an alien who saw like one TV show and is like, I know what humans are. I got this. And I really just like how off-putting but like sensical it is in a way. For Matt's, I really loved your description of the monster of the hunter. That was really creepy and really cool. Um, just the way like it was there, it's smiling, it's attacking, terrifying. I could really see it for me. And also really loved like I love your debate about the talisman. I love how you're like on our side, but you also want to challenge us. And I think like that's so fun to see in a GM where you're like, oh, I don't like want to do this if that's not what you want, but also like it could be interesting. And I think you're just really good at throwing these challenges in front of us. And for wishes, yeah, I agree. I would love some Somni Paul interactions, especially like after that fight. I feel like that's one of those we bonded from a distance, and now we need to talk about it or sort of put that in words scenes. And also, I would love to see Somni and Asru and sort of where that goes. And I would honestly love if Somni and Quixote are at some point like forced to be, I don't know, separated from the group or like forced to be together because they have like such clashing vibes. And I think that could be very interesting for both of them. Like, does Quixote do the hero thing and protect poor little fragile Somni? Or does he put her in danger? Do they put her in danger because there's like something going on? I think that could be like a very good way to sort of really paint Quixote's heroics as one way or another, because Somni is like so fragile in a sense, and the damsel in distress, if you will. So all of that could be very interesting scenes, I think.
I guess I can go next. If or Mike, do you wanna finish off what you were saying before you got cut off?
I'm not exactly sure where I was when I got cut off. So yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah, okay. So to echo what's been said, starts to match for the scenario, like in the situations that you were put in, how you were able to just like set the vibe and tone of it all. Like really like also like how you just like also like kind of pushing the attachment, because it did like want to incorporate attachment, but at the same time it also didn't really make too much sense for Quixote to just like take it with them. So like how we just made a roundabout way to just like keep the attachment with us, but not in a way that we probably thought it would like keep hunting us. starts to focus Jazy with Somni. And also like with what Mads and Mike said, how we learned so much about her through so little interactions, and how even though she is pretty afraid about what's happening, she still decides to keep going on. She still puts herself at risks of being hurt or lost to the darkness of the ship. So she might be a bit of a scared cat, but she also like just like put herself like really show utter determination to find her sister, to get her, achieve her goal. So like interesting to see like how that also progresses. Like that's will she will Somni realize that she's much more capable than she lets others believe, or will she perhaps be lost to the darkness before that happens? Starts of course to Mike and Paul with just like the straight man who just didn't plan to be the normal one in the group, but that just ended up. And I enjoyed the interaction between Paul and Quixote, and just how it didn't make any sense to Paul Quixote's actions, which is going to happen a lot more. Because I do remember like one thing I did say last session is that I would like more like group interaction, but I still run off on my own during this session. So hopefully the next session onwards, especially with the loss of Jerome, Quixote is going to perhaps stick around the group more, and that can lead, I think, to a lot more fun and interesting interactions between the characters. And of course, starts to James with also another character that will be pretty normal, but still more strange than Paul is. And like, I'll just add a little like detail. Doesn't have like any voice box, just like communicates with text messages, and it makes sense. All of our characters have tech. Somni is an engineer that has got spider arms. Paul is an android. Quixote themselves even have their own like cybernetic arm. It's just that Quixote doesn't understand tech that much, so their communication is going to be pretty one-sided, I believe, unless someone takes time out of their day to teach Quixote how to text. Really, like us, and like we would like to see how they develop in comparison with like Paul, and like just because the one's a robot with like set parameters in programming, and one's a pretty self-conscious android from the looks of it. So I just like want to see like how those two will interact in the future, and like will they just be on the same wavelength because they're both technically machines, or will they are different places? And I guess this will also like just count as my wishes, seeing the scenario play out, seeing how the characters play off each other, and how their response will be to what's now happening and how they will change up until this point. And I'll leave it up to James to finish it off.
I think I'll just sort of piggyback because everyone said what I was going to say, so I might just go. One character specific star that hasn't been covered is just star for Quixote for actually being the one to try and figure out what happened to Drum, which is kind of an obvious question, and it was really good that you picked that up, and that it created a really good plot line that we can follow. But I just also I think my big star is how this is like a very dark-esque incursion with the gold rules, and I like the sort of interplay of little trophy dark moments, but then like set piece fights, which is like a really good combination. I just enjoying it, but we're using a lot of the kind of non-confrontational combat rules and indirect combat, so I just think it's been really fun, and yeah, my wishes are I feel like there's a bit of a sort of Dorothy and Tin Man thing going on with Somni and Azra. I was actually like humming like to myself while I was muted. But I kind of want to see like where the yellow brick road goes and what constitutes a heart for a sort of unwisely dispatched autonomous robot. And I think that's great. I still just reiterating, I do want to see a trolley problem where Azrael has to choose between Somni and one of the others. And I do want to poll Azrael interaction, and also to investigate the whole Quixote thing, because I don't think Azrael really understands why Quixote's not replying to his message or to their messages. And I want the talisman to come back. I want to see the return of the talisman, and I want to see the return of the breach, like all the recurring plot points. I want to see them come back. But I just thought that was really fantastic, and I just really enjoyed it. And even though I came in late, I felt like I got a full session, and I'll look forward to listening in to the first bit that I missed.
Amazing. I mean, like such great work in this particular session. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for next time because we have to see about Somni getting her down and then like, what happens with Quixote Pole and yeah. Cuz I like Astro, you did get a chance to encounter to roll and encounter something terrible, but I have to bring that upon you as well. So I have to remember to do that for next time. Anywho, you guys have a wonderful week. Happy gaming for all that you're going to be doing. And we will see you next time. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much.
I think
Bye.